Elon Musk says he would reverse the Twitter ban on former U.S. President Donald Trump if his deal to buy the company goes through. Musk says he doesn't think it was correct to ban Trump from Twitter and called that decision morally wrong. The Tesla CEO says the social media platform should not have permanent bans. Joining us live tonight to discuss is the CEO of the Center for Countering Digital Hate, Imran Ahmed. Thanks so much for making time.
Good evening.
So, Imran, up until today, Musk had sort of broadly spoke about his vision to support free speech, but today he singled out Trump. Are you surprised?
Well, I mean, it is no surprise given his utterings over the last few days in which he's veered between literally retweeting enablers of white supremacy and making, and in the last couple of days, also meeting with the EU, which is bringing forward some of the most stringent legislation in the world on social media companies and telling them, I want to abide by the law there, and I fully support you. So, I mean, you know, in this chaotic milieu in which Elon Musk seems to ping pong between positions faster than you can blink, who'd be surprised that his next utterance is, I'm going to let Donald Trump back on the platform?
So what does this mean for misinformation and violence incitement on the platform? Will Twitter be safe?
Well, it's really interesting. When Twitter originally banned Donald Trump, Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter at the time, still the CEO of Twitter, said that he's just stepped down actually. He said that he was doing that because he recognized the link between online speech and offline harm. He blamed himself. He said, look, we failed to promote a healthy conversation. And as a result, we've had to take an extreme we've had to remove the president of the United States, and that they've had problems with enforcement in the past. Nothing has changed. He is still a major threat of offline harm because the things that Donald Trump says, and that social media provided him with a megaphone to get it out to billions of people, that material is still potentially dangerous. He did incite violence against the Congress, something that hasn't happened in centuries. And it's really worrying to a lot of us that we're going to see this spike in misinformation and hate, identity-based hate, on that platform.
So, Imran, is a platform, in your view, responsible also for the content? I mean, how can we support free speech without supporting misinformation?
I think a business is always responsible for the harm it creates. And let's not forget, these are businesses. Elon Musk isn't buying it for $20. He's buying it for tens of billions of dollars. And he's doing that. He's borrowing that money, let's not forget, from big investment banks. He's even taken money from the Saudi government, hardly a bastion of free speech, to ensure that this deal can go through. He's doing that because he wants the future revenue streams. And those revenues, if they're derived from speech that harms people, that leads to deaths, that undermines our ability to respond to pandemics, that undermines critical social goods like protecting human life, protecting human dignity, protecting human health, all of which are fundamental human rights, just as the freedom of speech is, then that's a real problem, isn't it?
Okay, so what message does this send to, other social media giants like Meta, who I'm sure are following this story closely? And do you expect U.S. lawmakers to step in somehow here?
I'm sure Mark Zuckerberg's grinning his from ear to ear because finally the attention's off him. Normally he's public enemy number one, and now it's Elon Musk. But look, I think legislators around the world, this is clarified for them. We can't go for this situation where the public good, public discussion, public discourse, our democratic dialogue is owned by a series of super billionaires with a sort of high school understanding of philosophy and law and fundamental human rights, who decide for us what is and isn't permitted in our public sphere. We decide that. These are democracies. And I think you've seen legislators in the UK, the EU. I just gave evidence to a Canadian parliamentary committee last week. We know that there's legislation being brought forward in Canada as well. It's exciting to see, and I think we will see something in the US in the coming months or years.
Such a fascinating conversation, Imran Ahmed. Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
A pleasure.